Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account, and of course it is the re-release or the opening of the Temporal Rift, which means we're going to go in the Temporal Rift, we're going to do some levels, I'm going to show you the teams that I'm using in here, but one thing to note right off the bat, the award selection, that is right, we do have Eugene. So we have seen him in a lot of the events that are coming up. Now he is in the Temporal Rift. This one single copy right here will actually take him to Mythic Plus, which means we will only be 3 copies short from actually build him up to Ascended, putting all the furniture. We already have the 9 of 9 furniture on there. Now, in addition, we're going to need 3 more copies, and I don't know if at that point he is going to be in the Stargazer, which means we're going to have to wait till we get the next events that are coming up and also getting him out of the guild shop so we can continue to build up Eugene, getting him to 1 star, ultimately taking him much, much higher. Now, in addition, you can see the rest of this kind of remains the same. Out of here, the primary is really getting the time emblems and the Stargazer scrolls. The rest of it, guys, even looking at the heroes we have up here, the Awakened version of Aziz, not really a big purchase right here with the Awakened version of Taylene. Not a big purchase. Honestly, the one that I would get out of here if you do not have built is the Awakened version of Solus. Still seeing a lot of utility with this hero. And unfortunately, with Brutus, we're not seeing as much utility. We're not even seeing him used in the treasure scramble anymore for this iteration. And I feel like as we continue to get the Awakened version of Lucius, which if you've seen the video a little bit earlier, I feel like he is just going to be phased out kind of further and further. So getting in the Temporal Rift, I'm going to again run through the teams that I run through here. To show you exactly who we're using. So looking at my formations, this is what we used before. It works incredibly well, and you can see we actually name these. So right here, we have the Gemini team, we have the Super Sword, which is the Awakened version of Thane, we have Light Girl, and we have the Void team and the Super Fox team. Let me hop out. I want to show you exactly what they are, because essentially what you can do is get to a point of running, both teams, running 1 team, running 2 teams, going a little bit further. But some of these teams are incredibly well and do incredibly well. Now, of course, we're only looking for 1 buff and 1 buff only out of there, which is the same one that we look for every single time. I haven't seen anything change. But looking at the Light Girl formation, and I want to break down kind of how this dynamic works incredibly well in here. So this one, we do have Alna and we do have the Awakened version of Belinda. Now, of course, we have Rowan in here as support. We do have Palmer in here, and then we have Ivan. So Ivan is going to buff up Belinda. With the Belinda-Alna combination, it is incredibly difficult to kill Belinda, if near impossible, by the time she puts out the damage that she needs to. Then, of course, the buff from Palmer, and then, of course, the buff from Rowan. And we're also running right here with the Rock Lizard, which means a lot of defense and a lot of shield up here within this team, making it very, very tough to kill. I don't know any formations. I actually ran 0 to 300 with this team, as well as the other teams that I'm going to show you in here. Worked incredibly well. Now, of course, you could put a couple subs in here, but these teams do work well. So the Void team, this is still with Albedo and the Dimensional Heroes. So we are running the Awakened version, or excuse me, we're running Amelia and Rem. The combination of those two, we do have Merlin in here. And then we're running the Awakened version of Sophia with the Slumbering Seal in here. Works, again, incredibly well. Now, with this dynamic, essentially, with the crowd control that Amelia is putting up at the very beginning, all of the enemies are stunned, giving Rem the ability to regenerate energy, meaning she is going to have the speed to kill everybody out in the formation super fast in their entirety. Then, of course, we're getting the attack and the defensive buff from Albedo. If they take fatal damage, Albedo will actually cover them. And then we have Sophia in here for the massive shielding on the allied side, which again works very well, as the ultimate ability that we see within here. Now, the Gemini team, this, of course, is Liberta, and it is Lucilla. Works incredibly well. Now, this one, I do run the Awakened version of Brutus, and I run Naruko. And the reason being, this team is incredibly, incredibly strong tank heavy. Now, we have shields from Brutus. We also have shields from Halos in the bottom. Lucilla, of course, if she dies, she comes back to life. And then with Naruko, we are running the Dia, which is the pet, the worm that is on there, as a massive tank in here. So when you start shielding up Nadia, it is very, very hard to kill the pet that Naruko has. And then, of course, gets all the buffs from all of the heroes in here. Now, also note that right here, I did take Liberta up to a plus 40 signature item, which is huge just because of not only adding that new ability, but adding a ton more stats. So I feel like that's going to be pretty easy to get through here. And then we're running Talisman. Now, we know with Talisman, once you do have them, and I believe it is up to 12, that is going to provide a lot of crowd control with the Greyborns and crowd control with the Hypos. So again, something to pay attention to when you're going in formations, because you can swap it up a little and make sure that the crowd control with Talismane is going to work. Now, we also run the Super Fox team, which of course is our Wilder heroes. We're running Tamara's, which again works incredibly well. We have buffs right here for Jerome. Again, very, very strong. Now, a couple different formations that you can actually run with this. If you don't have this Awakened version of Leica, a lot of players are running Neve in there because it is a very, very strong team. And also, if you don't have Damia, you can go in here with another Wilder. Again, you could probably run Neve in here. Now, of course, just with this build, Demia is not going to let anyone to die. We are going to have Tamaris in here for the crowd control. We have Leica in here not only for the damage, but also for the damage mitigation that we're putting up on other heroes. And then, of course, a massive support with the Awakened version of Solus up here. And Jerome is in here as a super, super strong buffer. Again, another team that I ran through a ton of content. In addition, we are running the Owl in here, which is going to give his little haste, which usually works right here on the back row to buff up the damage dealers that we do have. Now, the Super Sword team, this, of course, can be a couple different variations in here as we continue to get new heroes. So we're running Vathiel as a buffer and a tank. We also do have Mishka right here on the bottom, again, as kind of a buffer and a tank. We have Mulan in here doing a lot of damage, and then we do have the Awakened version of Thane in here. And again, this game mode, specifically in the Temporal Rift, can do damage incredibly fast when you're starting to build up. And then we do have Silas in here as well, again, doing very well within this game mode. And then this was the boss killer, so very similar to what we've seen before, but this is running the combination of Liberta with Lucilla. This is running the Awakened version of Belinda with Ivan as the buffer. And of course, having Palmer in there as a buffer works super, super well. And I believe the final one that we had, I thought we had one in here with the Awakened version of Athelia, which, I mean, you could put a formation in here that would work, but overall, getting into the Temporal Rift itself, pretty easy to get through. Now, like I was saying earlier, right here with Trade Enhancer, this is what you want to build up. And for a majority of players, especially if you are free to play, Trade Enhancer is going to be the one and only that you're going to get out of here. Now, of course, I did get a little bit of a bonus out of the temporal feedback, which if you look right here, this is because we bought our monthly cards. They were almost set to renew, so we picked up the monthly cards. It gave us the ability of these first 3 tiers, which of course gave us a lot of our essence. Being able to build this out a little bit further makes it super easy when you come in here. But even as free to play, I do the exact same. I can make a lot of progression very easy and very early. So starting off, right off the bat, I go with Light Girl. This is my sweep formation. Then, of course, with this, you can kind of go back and forth on what's going to go in here, because when the heal ally uses the ultimate skill, it summons 1 additional meteor. With the Awakened version of Belinda, ulting super, super fast, especially because you have Rowan in there with the potions. Ults are going to fly like crazy, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that 1 in there. Then, of course, we start off at the very beginning. Now, with the Temporal Rift itself, you always want to go the path of least resistance. We stress this every single time, guys, is you want to go the absolute path of least resistance. So what we mean by that is you're always going to go the easiest path. If by chance there is a Dewy Nectar in there, you're going to go that. If you get another hero, again, you're going to go that. You're going to go that route, and you'll see in here, even based on the battle, how fast this is going to go through. I mean, you're talking a couple different seconds. Ivan, of course, buffs up right there, which makes it incredibly well. Now, of course, thinking back and thinking to the heroes, again, looking at the path of least resistance, this one is the lesser one. We're going to go ahead and go in this one. Now, one thing to note, well, actually a couple things to note, is the right here, the collections. So I feel like overall with the Temporal Rift and the collections in here, this should be a very, very, very easy game mode, just based on what you can build with your collections, exactly where they're going to be and what it looks like in a bunch of different formations. Because I almost think like there wasn't a lot of compensation when it came to building these out and when it came to utilizing the collections in conjunction with heroes, in conjunction with the plus 40 or plus 50 signature items. I feel like it's pretty broken when you look at the heroes that we have in here. Again, it just seems like it's kind of crazy how fast and how much damage your teams can put out. Because again, you're putting that trade enhancer right behind these guys. meaning we're going to be able to burn through a lot of content through here very fast. Now, like we said, Path of Least Resistance, the Blessed Realm, we're going to go ahead and hop in here. And then based on the heroes that we do have, we have some Greyborn, but we have a Light Bearer in there. We have actually a couple Light Bearers. There we go. They're going to be strengthened. Now out of here, again, 36. Here's 36. We're going to go with the blue versus the purple. Now we can go ahead and auto battle this. Now I turn off the stop when a hero dies. Now one thing to remember in this is when you get to the point of being able to choose a hero. So there's actually a couple different ones. I forget exactly what it's called in here. I'm drawing a blank on that one. But when you get the chance to choose a hero in here, it stops the auto battle. So if you catch the auto battle very early, it is actually going to stop the auto battle when you're going through here, which means if you're letting this just run like I usually do until we get through, it's going to stop. There's a point where it is going to stop, and it turned double Vexing Realm right there. But again, got through really fast. This is a massive burn team. Now you also notice that down there, Rowan has his cart set up with the energy potion. The collection that he's running has the energy potion on there as well. So you're just getting everything from this formation. So it's kind of crazy to set up the stall. And I believe he gets a double stall just with the setup that we have, making, again, this formation pretty broken overall, especially because, again, the enemy doesn't have the ability to kill the awakened version of Belinda, because you have Alna in there with that 9 of 9 furniture, meaning that she's going to go immune for a while. Usually by the time she's immune, she can burn down the entire enemy team because she does so much damage so fast. We're going to let this run. I'm going to go through all of these stages, and I think we can go 40 floors. I think it was 40 or 50 floors off bat. Now, the big thing also to remember with this is when you're going through here and you're making progression and you're going through, make sure that you do this as early as possible, because you don't want to wait. Because remember, every single week, this game mode resets, which means you get your re-attempts, you get your stability back, you get everything back. You want to make sure, again, with it being released today, that you're making all of the progression possible and trying to, your goal essentially is to cap the levels. Now, also remember, with this team, it's interesting as well, because we have the plus 30 signature item on, or excuse me, the plus 30 engraving on Ivan. The squires also stun. So on top of everything else, and there, of course, is our boss through the realm of decimation, burned down in a matter of seconds with the damage that they're putting out. Lost 8 stability in there, but we did get a big buff right there with our first time reward. And there's the beckoning place. That's what it's called. Boom. There we go. So anytime you enter the beckoning place, it is going to stop. And look at that. There's Valkyrie. But it is going to stop your progression right here. It is going to wait for you to go back into this game mode. And then again, turn on the auto battle. I'm almost wondering if I drop Valkyrie in here. Now, I'm going to leave her right now. That's kind of interesting to see exactly where the power creep is with her and how effective she is within the game mode. But again, when you're putting stuff behind her. Now, also note, as you've seen right there, every 20 floors, it does reset the badges that you have on here. So going through, you can see it's picking up new badges right in this side. Boom. There we go. Picked up a new badge. Every 20 floors, the badges reset. So you have to be careful with the resets or with the retries in here, because essentially you could start at a floor without the badges that you had before, making a big difference on the ability to get through here. And if you're struggling, again, push as far as you can. Just wait a little bit, go through, come back to this game mode every single week once your retries are kind of reset. So again, I'm going to kind of let this run. I'm going to see, we're probably going to max out our floors in here just based on the strength of the team that we have. I mean, we're at 550 million right here for our combat rating. And if you've seen the enemy, they are much lower. I mean, way, way lower. They're at 182. So they got a long room to go ahead and build up. But all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.